Hi, welcome to Educate Focus. My name is Kellyanne Rodriguez. Today I'm going to show you how to balance of accounts. Now, we have a few accounts here, two types of accounts like capital, assets, liabilities. But regardless of what type of account you're balancing, these are the rules to follow. You add the debit side of your account, regardless of how much it is. Here it is 0. And with your pencil, you lightly write it in to the top 0. Then you add the credit side of your account, and here is 14,000. And with your pencil, once again, you slightly write in the amount 14,000. Now in maths, you will know what is bigger, what is smaller. At this time, the credit side is more than the debit side. So you minus the larger amount, the smaller amounts from the larger amount. So in this case, we see on the credit side, it is more, so the debit side is less. What that has to do, when you know that when you recognize or identify the side that is less, you immediately put in the date, May 31st, and your balance carry down. Why? Because the side with less means to say you have to put in the difference in order to make your account balance. So 14,000 minus 0 is 14,000. So the difference here is 14,000. And therefore, the balance carry down should be placed on the side that is 0, which is less, to ensure that both of your account is now the same. Now, if you add both sides, it will be 14,000. You will put your normal equal signs, right? And the next thing to pay note of is that always put your totals in the same row. I sing this all the time. Put your totals in the same row. Do not put one here and one up here and like to vex with one another. Put it in the same row. You will get marks for it in the exam. And it will not confuse you when you're doing your accounts as well. Then on the opposite side where you carry down your balance, so in this case you carry down on the debit side, on the opposite side, you will bring it down on the first day of the next month, which is June the 1st. Balance both down. And how much is it? 14,000. And so it is. However, in exam, please don't forget to remove all your pencil markings. So remove the 14 and remove the 0. That's erase, because you're writing very lightly so that you'll be able to minus, and if you forget, don't leave it to save in the calculator. If you write it on the side of a scrapbooking paper, but put it over your account so it's easy and accessible when you're doing your subtraction, right? Now going on to the cash account. Now in this account you will see that both sides, debit and credit, has values. At a glance you cannot tell which side is more and which side is less. However, if you add the debit side, follow the rule again. The debit side is 14,000 plus 300 is 14,300. So in pencil, again, you put above this 14,300. And you add the credit side. And at a glance, you cannot tell, but if you sum it up on your calculator, it's 14,230. 14,230. So what you're going to do, you're going to subtract the least amount from the most. And in this case, the debit side is 14,300, which is more than. However, the side with the less, what we're going to do, use the end of the period, May the 31st, sorry, and you put your balance carry down immediately. So if you know what difference you get, is going on the side with the least amount. And in this case, the credit side has the least amount. So the difference now is 14,000 on your calculator, 14,300 minus the 14,230 will give you a difference of $70. What this means in your cash account is that you have $70 balance in your cash. Now add both sides and remember, put your totals in the same row. So we have 14,300 on both sides, on the debit and credit side. Why? Because there's a carry down balance of $70, which means to say you have cash in hand of $70 at the end of May 31st. Now on the beginning of June, the first day of June 1st, on the opposite side, which is the debit side, in this case, you bring down your balance for the $70. So the balance that you carry down is the balance that you will be bringing down. And don't forget to erase your pencil mark. Simple as that. Let's do the bank account very quickly. Once again, at a glance, you cannot tell, but if you add your debit side, and you will find that it's 14,100. So we write it to the top. 14,100. And if you add the credit side, it's $7,750. So it's $7,750. Now you can tell the debit side is more and the credit side is less. So immediately on the credit side, we'll have to take the difference, the carry down balance. So in order for your account to balance. So we wait now. Now you minus, you subtract the least amount from the most. So 14,100 minus 7,750 will give you a difference of 6,350, which tells you there are $6,350 in your bank account at the end of the period. When you total both sides, it's supposed to be equal, and you're supposed to put the equal sign once again, and bring down your balance on the opposite side, which is the debit side here again. On the first day of the following month, your balance brought down will be the balance you carried on, which is 6,350. So let's look at an account that is different now. One without N. Okay, ALE. This is a creditor. If you add both sides, here is 200 on the debit side, so you put in 200. And the credit side is 500. Automatically, the credit side has the least amount. So what you know, your balance carried on has to be on the debit side. So it's the debit side that has the least amount. So balance carried down will be placed here. When you subtract the least amount from the most, which is 200 minus 300, you will get the difference. From 500, sorry, 200 from 500, you will get the difference, which is 300. So the difference, 300 carried down, means to say that we are owing ALE 300 at the end of the month. When you add both sides, right, you will get the total 500 going across in the same row, and you bring down now your balance on the opposite side, which is the credit side. Your balance brought down of 300. So thank you once again for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this and it helped you to balance off your account. Until then, bye.